Hello class, so this is my Unit 1 discussion and I will begin by answering the questions provided. So first question, should social media become the modern version of the judge and jury? So a quote I took from the Atlantic article by Caitlin Flanagan really expresses my opinion on this matter. From the short clip alone, it is impossible to tell. That's a quote that I would use to answer this question. A judge and jury, although get it wrong in certain situations, at least you go through the due process of hearing all the facts and all the opinions that go into a trial. Where social media only provides short clips, sometimes one perspective, sometimes two perspectives, but you don't know really how many perspectives are into that one video or one action that we see on social media. So no, I don't believe social media should become the modern version of the judge and jury. The second question, how does agenda setting and gatekeeping play a role in this situation? Linegar quoted, electoral victors are those who excel at projecting powerful imagery and symbolism, but not necessarily offer expertise or political experience. And so why I bring that up, for agenda setting, we associate Make America Great Again to President Trump. And so how I think this establishes agenda setting is for whether you're a Trump supporter or not, this story is tied into Trump. Whether we agree with his views or not, he's marketed himself around MAGA and that phrase. So anyone who represents that with that red hat is going to be tied into the story, and that's where I think the agenda setting of the media comes into play with this particular situation. If this particular news media is a supporter of Trump, then they will spin this particular story in a certain way, and vice versa for those not supporting Trump. And that's how I feel this provides, or this correlates with agenda setting and gatekeeping. And then to go into further discussion in regards to the PBS case, the questions asked for us to look into different angles, and so I'll pull that up and answer those questions. So how would different people interpret the incident at the Lincoln Memorial differently? I think that has a lot to do with who we are as individuals. I think if you're a supporter of Trump, then you'll view this story in a different way than maybe a Native American who has roots in that culture. And that's how I feel their angles and how they interpret this incident differently. I also want to point out how the Today Show kind of presented this situation as well. So the first question that was asked to the student, Nick Sandman, was, do you feel like you owe anyone an apology? So the media does the way they tell their story is the way they want you to interpret that story. So why would they start off an interview with, do you feel like you owe anyone an apology, in comparison to how they began the interview with Nathan Phillips? The first question they asked him was, how are you doing and how are you feeling after the situation that took place? So already the media is already providing an angle for you as a viewer to view this story. And to me, they're not doing their due diligence in providing an unbiased story to their viewers. What were the reactions from why were the reactions from the various viewpoints so strong? And I think that has a lot to do with your political views and how you view society, and how even the interaction of MAGA supporters with the Native Americans in this particular situation. A lot of your reactions are going to be what you pride yourself on and your morals. Do you think the incident warranted the amount of attention it got? And explain why or why not. So, in my opinion, I feel like this incident did not necessarily need the amount of attention it received, because I think there's other stories that the news media could have covered um, during this time. Why is it so important to understand the context of a situation before reacting and responding? Um, I pulled a few quotes from I Felt the Covington Catholic Test article by Julie Zimmerman, and I just want to share those, and I can share my feedback on that. So take away Twitter and Facebook and explain why total strangers care so much about people they don't know in a confrontation they didn't witness. Why are we all so primed for outrage? And another quote I like was, next time a story like this surfaces, I will try to sit out until more facts emerge. I remind myself that the truth is sometimes unknowable, and I'll stick to discussing the news with people I know in real life instead of strangers whom I've never met. And again, these were quotes provided in I Felt the Covington Catholic Test article by Julie Zimmerman, and I agree. Sometimes I'm guilty to scrolling social media, and I believe everything I see on there. And why are we so primed for outrage? Some of the most violent videos on social media stick out to me, and I don't know why. Maybe that's human nature, but it's unfortunate that we as a society, me as an individual, are primed for outrage, and I think that's remarkable to see. And unfortunately, that was something that opened my eyes. So, great Unit 1 discussion. I'm looking forward to seeing other responses and other viewpoints on this topic.